Hi, Karen. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for the invitation to have a
Yeah,
conversation today.
beautiful. And like I mentioned earlier before we came in, thank you for honoring the invite. It means a whole lot. Thank you so very much. Okay, Karen, I am quite excited to have you on the show for some reasons. All right. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking, because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge, quality information.
Mm.
And you see, Karen, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation very important to me and even to the audience. Okay, the second reason now is for the sake of the listeners. You know, I
Hmm.
believe there are some things that Karen, sorry, that some of these listeners needs to hear you say this stuff, directly from your mouth in order for them to experience transformation and get unstuck. I firmly believe that. And lastly, that is me again. Sorry. I believe that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from your story, insights, and experiences. Okay, so for that reason, Karen, let's get started with your introduction and talk to us about your journey, how you got here. And afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Karen, over to you.
Thank you. I think there's a little bit of a delay. So I'm in Texas, you're in West Africa, so there may be a delay. So if there is, I'm still trying to catch up and I'll respond. Um, Thank you for the invitation. And I love that you said the application of knowledge because it's not just accumulating knowledge for knowledge's sake, it's actually applying it where the transformations and change takes place. So I love that that is your perspective. I very much agree with that. And for something to remain in the darkness, that's where shame resides. That's where our fears reside. So to bring things into the light, whether it's to talk about it, to just become aware of it, that's where we can begin to eliminate the fear, the ignorance, and the hate that is just all over the world right now. So I love this conversation. Thank you for holding such a safe space to have it.
Beautiful. Thank you too.
So my story, I'm a coach. I work with executive women, but I came from a background of financial services. So I've dealt with a lot of challenges with people and their money mindset and how just their stories about money has affected their confidence so much. So I love to kind of tap into that a little bit today on our call as well.
Yeah, beautiful. And I'm just so excited to have you on the show. Okay, so if I may ask, how did you, how was your journey like? Can you talk to us about that? How you got here? Then maybe after then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. Um, so here today is a full-time coach, speaker, podcaster. I also have my own podcast. And just like everybody else's journey, it was something that really transitioned and it wasn't where I set out to be. So as a young kid, I wanted to be an RN. I wanted to help people with their health. I wanted to really be a caretaker and make sure people were healthy. That was really important to me as a young girl. And life happened along the way. I had kids really young and went through some abusive situations in my first marriage. And so I went to work in a bank, and it was something I could do around my kids' jobs or my kids' school. And so my job became just something that I did. It wasn't anything I was passionate about. It wasn't anything that really lit me up or inspired me, but it met a need and kept our family alive. So, but over the years, I had an opportunity to coach my daughter she was competing in a pageant here in the States. In Texas, we have what's called rodeo queen pageants. And it's much like you would be familiar with a Miss pageant where they speak and they have a talent. And but rodeo queen pageants, their talent is their horseback riding skills. And their wardrobe is much different. They actually represent the rodeos in America. There's also rodeo queen contests in Australia and Canada. And I'm trying to think, there's one other country that has them. But anyway, so that has become something that was the inspiration for my coaching. And she was coached by a friend of ours who was tragically killed in a car accident. So I had to step in and start helping her. At the time, I was a single mom. And it was really important for me that she continue this because there were scholarship opportunities, and I saw how it was helping her confidence. And through that coaching, I got to see, man, the things that she's struggling with are things I struggled with, and I didn't compete in pageants. And there's some of the same confidence things that my financial clients are struggling with. And so I saw this pattern where if we don't do something about our confidence and how we feel about other people judging us and other people's opinions, we're going to continue it on and on and on and on in life. We're just going to completely compete. I can't talk this morning. We're going to completely repeat the pattern. And so it's just going to continue and actually begin to grow, and we're going to manifest it in other ways, because then we create a story about it and it starts showing up in other places. And so I began to do my own healing, work on my own confidence and how I felt about people pleasing and making others happy. Helped my financial clients, and just fell in love with the process. And so I pursued coaching certification, and in 2020 went full-time coaching for professional women. And it has been the most rewarding thing in my career.
Beautiful. I can relate so well because there was a time, that time also, where I basically lived to please people. I do not even care about myself now. Whatever it is that they say is what I like to always do. And the end result will always getting to hurt myself, and I keep remaining unhappy. And until I decided to stop it. And you say like you mentioned that you enjoy the process. It was so with me also, and I think it is very important to listen to people like you who've come to understand that you shouldn't be a people pleaser. You should love yourself and, please yourself first. Understand that whatever people thinks of you doesn't really matter. I got that. So
Yeah.
that's going to lead to the first question. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am. I'm ready.
Okay. So, I believe that there is this enemy in our head, like there's some sort of insecurity and imposter syndrome. How can we conquer these things? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. So one of the things in the process of me overcoming this people pleasing was to realize that everything begins with our thoughts. Our beliefs are formed by our thoughts. Our habits are formed by our thoughts. And our perspective and our personality then becomes formed by these thoughts. So everything begins with a thought. And that means we can choose to have a different thought. And so when there's nothing wrong with doing things to please people, I think the problem comes in when we put everyone else above ourselves. And that creates this well of lack and this well of I'm less than, this place of I have to do this, or I'm deriving my value from externally. So when we can go within and see that we are truly intrinsically valuable just because we're here. Our value is not based on anyone else's opinions. It's not based on anyone else's perception. We have a God-given right of value because our life is here. We have an existence. And so when you can see yourself from that perspective, you're able to judge yourself and others less and see yourself as in being, when we see ourselves as an imposter, we're seeing our lack, not our grace, not our benefits, not the things that we're here to contribute. And so when we can realize that I have a choice in how I see myself, and I have a choice in how I love myself, and how I have a choice in how I treat myself and honor myself. And regardless of anyone else's external opinion, that still exists. And so I can be respectful of your opinion. If I've hurt you, if I've done something that's impacted you negatively, I can still be aware of that and honor myself. Both situations can exist at the same time. I can make mistakes and still be valuable. Both of those exist at the same time. And so it's this awareness that we don't live in a silo of I'm good or bad. It's I can be good and still make bad decisions. I can be good and still make mistakes. I can be good and you can be good and still not like me. I can be good, you can be good, and I not like you, right? That doesn't have any bearing on our value, on how we show up, on how we are able to serve, on our calling in life. And so when we take that horrible weight and pressure of measuring up to this imaginary line of measuring stick that we've created in our head, and if I don't get there, now I'm a failure, now I'm an imposter. If we don't use that fake ruler, then we can just give ourselves grace to be, and I can give you grace to be, and we can coexist in such a pleasant, graceful, love-filled, positive atmosphere. And so I just believe it's about realizing and recognizing that you have a choice in how you see yourself.
Oh man, that was well explained, and I got that. And I
Thank
think
you.
you're very correct because, truthfully
Thanks.
speaking, not many people understand that they've got value and they don't even know their worth. And you see, there was a time where I came across a particular service of which is actually offering a very um, great solution. And you see, when I came across the price, I felt really, nah, this ain't right. Because you're offering such a
Yeah.
great value and the price is kinda just too low. Then I discovered that maybe this person doesn't actually understand how valuable this content is. And that makes what you said very right because there are several institutions that contribute to people not understanding how valuable they are. I tell you, the society is playing a vital role in this stuff. Okay, we've got one more to go, all
Sure.
right? One more question to go.
Okay.
Okay. Now let us talk about women now, okay? Many women struggle with confidence, especially in corporate environments. All right? And now, what are your top tips, okay, for women to build and maintain confidence in the workplace?
Mm. I think the biggest thing that I learned, the greatest lesson I learned going through my corporate journey, working with women, is we are taught that we are competing with each other. And when I see you as an ally, when I choose to recognize that this woman next to me or these people that I'm in corporate with are my allies, not my competition, then I'm no longer going to resent their success. I'm no longer going to feel like I have to compare my journey to their journey. Because when you make that choice so they can be successful, and I love this and, living in the land of and, I call it. I love seeing that I can be successful and they can have a different success, and they're both valuable. They're both valid, and both of our journeys are valid. And her success doesn't negate mine. I don't have to step on anyone else, put anyone else down for me to rise up. I can cheer you on. I can cheer that woman on. I can cheer that person on, and I'm still valuable. And so when I just focus on the things that I can control, the things that matter to me, and stay in my lane, recognizing that I'm only competing with who I was yesterday, trying to be better than that person, that is within my control. I won't get resentful. I won't get competitive. I won't feel this negative pressure. And I'm also not going to allow that person to imprint their pressure on me. So that's one, is that lack of competition. The second thing is when we put so much value in achieving something, like I'll be happy when I get to that position. I will feel successful when I get that title, when I make that much money. That's putting all of this power of our happiness, our joy, our internal satisfaction in the hands of these external things that may or may not ever happen. And so when we can just enjoy the journey every step of the way, knowing that if I get there, that's going to feel really great. If I get that promotion, if I get that competition or win that competition, that's going to be awesome. And if I don't, I'm still great. I am still happy. I'm still good. That doesn't dictate my life and how I enjoy it. That does two things. That doesn't repel those things that we want. It actually draws them in and attracts them. So that law of attraction gets to come into play. And it allows us to enjoy every single step of the way, knowing that we control the narrative. We control the lessons. We control the thoughts in our head. We control the things that are going on in our circle. And if something happens along the way and that job goes away, I'm still valuable because I didn't put my stock in something I couldn't control. I will tell you, one of the greatest thieves of our joy and our satisfaction in life is comparison and there. We always hear, when I get there, when I get to take that trip, when I get to do that thing, when I get to meet that person or have that life, then I'll be happy. And that is probably the biggest lie that we've been taught to believe, that something outside of our control is going to make us feel differently. I just want to remind you, if you're hearing this, you get to choose to be happy today. You get to choose to be a good person today. You get to choose to be kind and loving and careful and considerate today. And nobody can take that from you. That's all within your control. So if you want to take back your power, begin with your choices and your thoughts. And
today,
in corporate America, today, right this minute, you get to choose. You're listening to this podcast. You can be like, okay, flip the switch. Not 1 second am I going to allow anybody else to steal my joy. This corporate position I'm grateful for, but this doesn't dictate. My faith and my trust is in myself and what I believe is my higher power, my God, my faith. And when you take back that control, man, you will be amazed at the things you see transition.
amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
Karen,
Thank you, Alicia.
I mentioned at the beginning, I said, I am convinced that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from you. And that has happened already. Thank you so very much. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for
So to
allowing
bring
me to
this to an
share
end,
or
Karen,
hearing me.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
What would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach
Mm.
out to you, learn more about what you do, maybe you said some things that resonated with them and they love to learn more. How can that be possible?
Thank you. So, um, one, thank you for holding space and for having just such a sweet spirit and kind voice. It's wonderful to talk with you. Um, I would say if anybody is listening to my voice and they're like, I want more of what Karen's sharing, I have a podcast, so they can follow me on my podcast. It's called Rock Movers. And on my website, my name is Coach Karen Gray on all social platforms. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. You can follow me there. I do a live on Instagram every day, and the US it's at 3 Central, or between 3 and 4. And then on my website, there's all kind of freebies. So I have a quiz that you can take to identify your self-worth archetype. I've got a free book on confidence. I am all about helping you see your value, understanding I call it VIQ, which, we know what EQ is, your emotional intelligence. We know what IQ is, your intellectual quotient. Well, I teach and talk about and coach around your VQ, which is your value intelligence. So if you don't know how valuable you are missing the opportunity to live your best life. And it's going to affect your performance. It's going to affect your ability to receive abundance, receive love, receive finances, receive all that the world has for you. So if you're sitting there and you're feeling like, I'm an imposter, I'm a fraud, I'm not who I want to be, it's because you don't understand how valuable you are. And let me help you and show you your intrinsic value, because once you discover it, you can't ever unsee it. And so I offer a free coaching call. I have a self-confidence, reclaim your self-confidence mini course. It's super reasonable. It's $27. So if anyone wanted to tap into that, they also get 1 month free in my mastermind. And those are all the ways, plus just one-on-one coaching. And I am here to help. So if someone is looking for a way to get a hold of me, I try to make it super easy, super reasonable. It's never about the money, but money is just an exchange of our value. And I know that you're valuable. So you giving me your time is so valuable to me. So those are all the ways that you can connect with me. And I'm just here to serve and help lift up women, especially, to let you know how truly, truly valuable you are, especially if you're leading others. We need you to be super confident because we are counting on you to show us how to do it, to show the people that are following you need you to be your most valuable self, because you'll teach them how valuable they are.
Beautiful. Very inspiring. Thank you so very much, Karen. So that's
Thank
going to be
you.
the end of
Thank
the
you for
show.
having me.
Thank you for coming. And thank you for, blessing and impacting us with these amazing words of yours. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Such a great space. And I'm just so grateful for you. Thank you.